This is the Daily Divide. The government says a deal for 2 new Cook Strait ferries is just months away, with final talks now underway with preferred shipbuilder. Rail Minister Winston Peters confirmed Ferry Holdings has signed a letter of intent after a closed tender, locking in a fixed price and a 2029 delivery date. The 200-metre hybrid diesel-electric ships will each carry 1,500 passengers, 70 crew, plus 2.4 kilometres of lanes for trucks, cars and rail wagons. Peters says the process has saved taxpayers billions compared to Labour's scrapped IREX project, which blew out to a projected $4 billion, which of course included the much-needed refurbishment of the ageing port facilities in Wellington and Picton, before being cancelled at a cost of $671 million, including a $144 million payout to Hyundai. The chosen shipyard won't be revealed until contracts are signed later this year. Amazon is trumpeting a $7.5 billion investment in New Zealand data centres, billed as the biggest ever by a tech giant here. With promises of $10.8 billion in GDP gains and 1,000 new jobs, Prime Minister Christopher Luxon fronted the announcement, calling AWS the lifeblood of Kiwi business. But critics say much of this isn't new. The same numbers were unveiled back in 2021 under Labour. The latest twist is the official launch of the AWS region, a cluster of data centres around Auckland. Though instead of building new sites, Amazon appears to be renting and fitting out existing spaces. Labour accuses Luxon of trying to claim credit, while experts warn the job and growth figures are inflated marketing spin. Some also question the power demands, with AWS refusing to reveal how much energy the centres will use, though it's pledged to run on 100% renewable power by 2040. The government is overhauling disability support funding after months of backlash over restrictive rules introduced last year. Disability Issues Minister Louise Upston says new changes will restore flexibility and give disabled people, families and carers more choice and control. Key reforms include a single nationwide assessment process, personalised support plans, and scrapping of the controversial March 2024 purchasing guidelines. Families and carers' needs will also now be considered in assessments. Flexible funding users will still face budgets to prevent cost blowouts, but reassessments can be requested if circumstances change. Upston says the reforms, backed by $1 billion over 4 years, follow feedback from more than 1,800 people and aim to rebuild trust in the system. Labour says the government has dithered, causing unnecessary pain, and argues flexibility should never have been removed in the first place. The government is pushing ahead with plans to extend New Zealand's parliamentary term from 3 years to 4 years, with the final decision left to voters in a referendum likely in 2026 or 2029. If approved, the change would take effect from 2031. Supporters argue 3 years is too short for governments to deliver lasting reforms, while opponents warn that without extra checks and balances, ministers would hold too much power for too long. Most major parties back the idea, though ACT wants stronger safeguards. Labour and the Greens also support 4-year terms in principle, while New Zealand First says it would save money and improve long-term planning. But history is against it. Voters rejected longer terms both in 1967 and 1990. Both polls show public opinion is still split, with many still undecided. The bill has passed Select Committee and is heading back to Parliament for further debate. Until then, the question remains, are Kiwis ready to give politicians an extra year in power? The Public Service Commissioner says all options are on the table as the government looks for efficiencies, including a possible mega merger of 3 agencies: the Ministry for the Environment, Transport and Housing and Urban Development. Staff emails and OIA documents show senior leaders acknowledged the merger rumours were unsettling, but insisted it's still business as usual. Ministers Judith Collins and Chris Bishop both say no formal decision has been made, while Prime Minister Christopher Luxon confirmed Commissioner Brian Roche has been asked to come up with proposals to streamline agencies and cut duplication in back office functions. Luxon says the goal is a leaner, more efficient public service, but for now merger talks remain just that, talk. Auckland Council is calling on government to help crack down on illegal boarding houses after inspections found most were overcrowded, unsafe and housing people referred by WINS and corrections. Officials say some landlords are running as many as 20 properties, with fire risks a major concern, and want a national register to keep track of operators. Meanwhile, the government is boosting support for people with eating disorders, pledging an extra $4 million a year. The money will go into peer support, community help for families and expanded pet specialist care, the biggest investment in 16 years. And the building industry is warning of an energy crisis, urging ministers to divert gas from Methanex, which consumes nearly half of the country's supply, to local manufacturers. They say without action, closures will mount and costs will soar, and the housing shortage will deepen.